Hi everyone, my name is Icdisis. I do a lot of spooky games and spooky game speedruns. I learned this game today, Layers of Fear. I'm blocking it up here, but don't worry, you're not missing much. Anyway, I'm going to do marathon commentary for this game, because honestly, this is a really easy horror speedrun to get into. It's mostly walking, but there's a lot of little things that kind of come into it, so we're going to be going over that, and it'll be a good experience in about like a little over half an hour. Anyway, time begins when you first move, so you just kind of hit new game. Make sure you show that off, because that's part of the rules. I kind of like this game though. It's better than I thought it would be as a speedrun. I kind of figured going into a walking sim like this, there'd be a lot more issues, but there's a lot that actually kind of goes into it, and that's why I like this over other walking sim games. Because I've sped ran other walking sims, but this one actually kind of requires you to do a little bit more and think a little bit more, which is why I like it. Anyway, time begins once you first move, so you can kind of keep your hands up for a moment if you want to. Some runners will actually start moving during the load, but I kind of like just doing this. Thank you for the bit. Alright, so you get a little bit of a load. Loads don't, they make a difference, apparently. Maybe I'll try running this on my SSD at some point, because right now I'm running this on an external drive, because I didn't want to take up disk space. Anyway, we'll count it down, and then we'll begin. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So, a big thing to note about this game is that doors are weird, and, well, before I get into that, let me tell you about what this game is. This is Layers of Fear, and you are trying to, I guess, paint a masterpiece. But the masterpiece isn't quite what you think it is. Anyway, I just mentioned something about doors. What that means is that doors either open inward or outward. If they open inward, you have to open it inward. If they open outward, well, you open it outward. And you have to make very certain that you're opening things the right way. So, outward doors are very easy, just hold up. Inward doors, on the other hand, you have to do a little bit more. Every single chapter of this game, so to speak, will be involving going to your masterpiece and making sure you're all good. Layers of Fear, as well as a game, is going to be very, I guess, disorienting to an extent. A lot of the rooms will be changing as you go. Also, hold on, that is Baby. Baby is 5, I think. So, the answer is 5, 4, 8. Yeah. So the answer to this is RNG based on the portraits. Yeah, you want to look at the portrait, and then the portrait kind of will give you an indication of what happens. Best RNG is 854, but if you can just look at the portraits really quick, you can kind of figure out what you need to do. And you'll see more of that room tech, because I don't actually have to be in this room. I just need to... Thank you. I just need to enter it so I can get the room to exit once again. Because a lot of these rooms are just enter it and then get the scare and then leave. Like this room, for instance. So have a lot of these as you go. A lot of the game will actually be moving forward as you go, but I kind of like the fact that you have to be kind of conscientious of the routing and the rooms you're going into, because if you spend too much time in one room and try proceeding through it and don't know what you're doing, well, you have lost some time. Right now, we're actually coming into my least favorite part of this run, one of them at least. You open up these two, and then once you do that, you can also open that. You kind of just have a seizure on your screen. The reason why is because I'm waiting to hear a knock. Once you hear a knock, you go to the door. But this forces the knock. There it is. And then once that knife is thrown, you can then go to these apples. Or potatoes? Fruit. You can then go to all the fruit here and veggies, and that allows you to get the first part of your masterpiece. You'll notice there are a lot of different body parts. It's cryptic and spooky if you've never played this game before. Probably should if you're running it.
Sharp as a razor.
But once you get the body part, it usually indicates the end of a chapter. Not every part of the game requires me to do that weird, shaky movement. But the shaky movement kind of allows me to abuse the game's turning of events and such. Anyway, if you're wondering why I lost time on my splits, there is RNG on the code. I got bad RNG on that code. It's okay. You don't always get winners. So for me, I hold down the mouse button to kind of just know when I can open doors, and then I'm able to get there. Next, we're going to talk about the elevator. The elevator has some neat tech you can do with it. You want to make sure that it's actually closed before you turn the switch. In order, you'll go in the elevator 3 times at the game. It's right, left, left. We'll talk more about why that's the way later, but just know that the elevators are very particular with the way they go. So if this isn't closed and you're not going right, well, that's bad. You'll get a red light up here, and then that'll prevent you from actually going in. Most of this game is actually incredibly linear. If you're going the wrong way, you're getting extra jump scares, and all the jump scares and such take time. So don't do that. In this upcoming room, we're going to start kind of getting weird, I guess, trigger doors, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is walk past this door right here, and then, surprisingly enough, that opens. Once this opens, we can get the key that's inside. And getting this key allows me to kind of deal with the shifting of rooms and open up this door. So most of this game is going to be that memorization of routing and door opening. To know which door is which, if the doorknob is on the right, it is an inward door. If it's on the left, it's an outward door. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Although once you kind of, you know, run this enough times, you'll start getting the hang of it. So it's quite nice. And also rooms might start looking familiar. Like this room earlier, we did enter and then immediately exit, but this time you go through it. So it's kind of funny for that, and I do like that. Also, I hate this door, because this one got me last time. Wait, did it? It did. Got me this time, I should say. Sometimes my mind blanks. Alright. So, I think this chapter is kind of a weird one, because the ending is a very interesting solution. Also, there's a dog there. You can say hi to the little doggy. But this kind of gives you the hang of just walking forward. Walking sims tend to do this, but we're going to hit the next kind of weird, disorienting jump scare, so to speak. We're going to open this door, and then right when I open it, what's going to happen is I look backwards, and then I look back. By doing that, I am able to immediately get the room turning how I want. You can try walking forward again, but the problem is you'll be sent back to go to this room. So going through the right door is always going to be very, very important. So this is the one I was thinking of. What you do is you walk far enough and then the door will open. You want to make sure you walk really far, because this can slam back shut on you if you're not careful. So you don't need to actually turn on the lights. I do it so I can see. I actually maxed my brightness on this game, because this game is very dark. But this is like one of the first waiting rooms in the game, I would say. You have nothing to do but wait. So, you can actually take a look at my desk here. They put it in. See? I actually don't have... Actually, I do have glasses. They're in my car, because I'm stupid. You know, documents, wine, and more importantly, the emergency wine. Rats, rats. Yes, there are a lot of rats. Rats are very thematic in this game. People keep singing the rat song in me. But I kind of like this game as a speedrun because it has a lot of just chill moments like this that aren't too much waiting, but there's some. I don't mind waiting personally in games. Depending on the waiting, it can be very different to me. Anyway, let's move forward. And we're going to be hitting the next stylized room, which is going to be right here. First things first, you grab the record, and then you hit that. Afterward, you start spinning this. I put my mouse in circles, and that kind of gets it going fast. From then, you reverse it. The reversing will kind of disorient the room, and then once you get the blood, I'm immediately going to unreverse it and get it back in normal speed. Funny enough, while I'm getting the weird little cutscene, like you saw when I grabbed the canvas or the skin, I had a little period of time I had to wait. So I'm actually going to shorten the wait time by repairing the room while that's happening. So you can see the door is starting to repair. Alternatively, if you didn't do this, you would have to do it afterward and you have to respin the thing. But by doing this, the song will continue playing, and then right when it finishes, I can just leave. So that's much, much better and saves me time.
And it just kept coming.
You also get the rantings of a crazy man who will complain about not having a syringe. Why didn't I think of a syringe? See? He's angry, Chad. He's angry. Nobody likes an angry man. Also, I'm spending a lot of time off that. I don't know why. I don't know why I did better, but I did something better. Okay. So, that was chapter 2. We're on the next chapter. By the way, if you don't know the story of this game, thematically, you'll kind of figure out all these body parts do have meaning the more you kind of watch and play it. Also, looking at the splits, you can kind of see what each of these represent. That was the paint, or the blood vial. The first one was the canvas. Also, we play as the world's strongest man as we just toss a piano 10 feet away from us. And he's powerful. So with this one, I'm going to be getting a door spawn back here, and you want to kind of like just look around. By doing so, you'll eventually get the spawn you need. There it is. And knowing that ahead of time is what makes it good. Alright, not bad. And then we leave, break the door down. Knowing these movements is the critical part of this game. Because if you do, well, you'll be good to go. And you'll be going very, very fast in comparison. I also use certain marks to kind of know where I need to be going next. For instance, that big thing of books, I always go left. And that's just kind of a mental note I make to myself. Because a lot of this game can get a little kind of samey once you play it. So having these little note markers for yourself is the best way of doing so. We're now in a loop room. So the puzzle of this is, oh, you keep looping and then eventually you have to answer a phone call. We don't have to do that. You walk past this desk and then you go backwards. Congratulations, I broke the loop. You just go to the end now. It's kind of funny with the puzzle being so simple. All you had to do was go past the first one and then, hey, look, there's a phone. Doesn't actually matter. I don't have to worry about that. I broke the loop. This will actually get a lot of players stuck because they don't quite know what they have to do. You have to commit to going backwards once you've started the loop. And then you get a different doorway and you can move. And I've broken the loop. Also, jump scare. We don't worry about the jump scare. We just kind of immediately ignore it. I like kind of just breaking the game's jump scares. So this part, I'm going to get tossed back at a certain point. I walk forward, it's going to throw me backwards. You can actually die here if you're not careful. Now, dying is really bad, not just for the reason you think it is. Not only is it bad to die, what happens if you die is you get further punished because you'll get a bad scene in an elevator. So, by turning on the light, I have prevented myself from dying, which is really good. Bad scenes in elevators are not good. So right now, I'm doing minor tech. I didn't get it entirely, but I kind of got it sort of. So, when you pull this left, what you can actually do is when you're closing this, you can ram your body into this handle. And by doing so, you can get it closed at the exact same time. It's minor tech, but it's actually really neat. Alright, so let's move forward. I also kind of love it because you can really squeeze through some tight holes. Like, our main character is like a really weird version of Abraham Lincoln where he just sort of squeezes, and I love it. You can die in this game? You can die in this game, which is one of the reasons I do enjoy it. The deaths aren't super punishing as a casual experience, but it is punishing in terms of a speedrun because you lose a lot of time. Now, pallet, grab it. Important. Good skip. Alright, with this section, we're mostly just kind of walking our way through. All these doors are just meant to scare you, so don't worry about that. You just go to the end. So, with this room, you don't have to actually open anything, I forgot. You can just go back. Kind of disorienting, but I kind of just hold up, go a little bit like to the left, and then turn myself, and then we're good to go. And now we're going to the basement. This is another one of those chill sections, but we're getting the body part we need. So in the basement, what's going to happen is I am going to be touching that piano. Once I touch the piano, I just wait. Now, you have two options. One, you can wait and just stare at a wall like this, Blair Witch style. Or two, you can move around all the furniture. You don't have to do this. It's just kind of funny to shove everything around, at least to me. You have to wait for the music to finish, but once you do so, you're good to go. Apparently, shoving the furniture out of the way doesn't really do all that much, but I like doing it. No, you can't scare me that easily. Every now and again, I can get spooked, but it doesn't happen too often. We do play as Abraham Lincoln. He looks like Abraham Lincoln. So yeah, I'll drop twice, so you don't have to worry. The room always kind of ends the same way, I'm fairly certain. If not, I just blocked myself and soft-locked the game, which I don't think would do happen. But right here, the next item is going to spawn. Once it spawns in, we can just progress forward. It's important to note as well that even in the slow motion, I can actually sprint. So make sure you're holding down the sprint button the entire game. There is a sprint button, by the way, in this game. I didn't know that for a while. Like, you want to make sure that you're always sprinting. So, there we go. It fixed itself.
At first,
I should also mention while these things are happening, your sensitivity on your mouse goes way, way down. So what I do is I kind of do like little, like, bursts. I don't, like, drag it. I just, like, I drag, like, I tap it. So I pick it up and I slide. And I do a bunch of little slides. Because just one slide won't do the job. You need many slides. Like, kind of like chopping. Like that instead of that. And that is the difference. It's a weird thing because I'm doing it with my hand. And that is the case. Anyway, we got Bone. It's like that card from American Psycho. That's Bone. Alright, and we add more to our masterpiece. I mean, you can look at the masterpiece if you want. You see some flamingos and stuff on there, but it's not there. What's the sprint? Shift. So yeah, I'm holding on shift for most of the game. Alright, so you're going to have your dead wife there. We don't care about your dead wife. She doesn't matter. Walk past her. Ignore her. Only progress is ahead. Ignore your wife. Speedrunning is life, chats. That is the way it goes. Open. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. You have to open up 3 of the doors, and sometimes the game's not very nice about it. Game. Thank you. Once you open up 3 of them, you start just kind of going right and left, and then you'll notice the door fixes behind you. You can go a little bit quicker, but that works. Ignore the bear. What I think was the scariest scary movie ever. Alien Isolation's pretty good. So, that one. Alien Isolation, I would say. Anyway, now we're inside this room. Guess what? We leave. Ignore all the rooms, and then just further move forward. See those chairs? Ignore them. The jump scares in this game don't matter. All that matters is progress. So what we're going to do is go right, and then this way. By going this way, you prevent dying to your wife. Remember, dying to your wife isn't smart. Now we're kind of in a chaining room. You have to make it to the end of the chain, so you just keep opening the door until you hit a locked door. Once you hit a locked door, you get to see baby. Baby. And then more babies come out. This is a waiting section at this point. You can either stare at the babies. If you really want to stare at the door, you can, but you have time to wait. If I remember correctly, I think when you hear babies crying, you can open the door. See, there you go. Children crying. So for this one, have a rotation in the corner and get the portrait alive. Once the portrait's there, you're good to go. And then you get Spooky Portrait, which looks like Pagliacci the Clown. But I say that because we have Pagliacci in chat. So once you're here, you get babies, and then a panic event starts, so to speak. What we're going to do is nothing, because, well, you have to wait it out. See, you get a bunch of little dolls freaking out. This is just a jump scare. You can die in this game. You have to be careful with that. Look at them go. My favorite part is the day of the races, by the way. Like, they're all gearing up for the races. So at a certain point, what's going to happen is, oh, here it is, look at them, day of the races, they're going. So when that happens, you actually need to be here. You want this black dot right there to kind of be on the side, because then you can do that. If you're there, you can immediately start the next scare. Also, this baby's gonna run into the wall, it's hilarious. Oh, I love it. Okay. Just ignore the baby and you'll be fine. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to approach this child, and we actually are going to be dying. I approach about here, you start the event, and then you start going backwards. You also want to look away, and you kind of want to approach the window right there. By doing so, you'll spawn closer to the door when you're ready to leave. There's a weird color effect, I don't know why. But we're going to be exiting the way we entered this whole section. This has all been one room, by the way. Okay, so I didn't quite get it, but that's okay. So behind me, there'll be the door I want to enter, and then we just kind of go through there. Right here. Okay, thank you. Alright, and then we ignore the crayon. And just move forward. Alright, this next one's going to be really easy, by the way. We're dealing with more children. You're entering this white door because it's pretty. From here, you're going to be going into the cabinet, first door, and then grabbing that. Once you grab that, prepare for another auto-scroller. You just start the toy. Once the toy starts, what I like to do is I like to check Twitter, because you should follow me on Twitter if you've not done so yet. Wink, wink, wink. I'm being very obvious about my shilling, aren't I? You literally can't do anything here. You have to wait it out. You can touch your toes, you can go on Twitter, you can toss a coin, you can do a lot of things here. But realistically, you have a bit of waiting. Waiting's all done once you're good to go. Well, thank you, Flame. Ah, yes. And it's supposed to be a nice little effect. What you have to be aware of afterward, though, and this always gets me, but inside the cradle, inside the bed, whatever you want to call it, there is going to be a brush or some hair. You need to grab that. And then after that, we'll be going to the door. And then after that, we'll be entering the door. Shockingly enough. I'm not going to entirely spoil the fun of a horror game, because that's not very fun, but let's see if anyone goes to my Twitter during this run. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you follow my Twitter as well. I like doing that. I have a buddy who shows his Twitter every time he does challenges on his YouTube, so I figured I'd do it during mine. Realistically, I like Twitter, it's fun. You don't like this? Well, it is a horror game. Also, you're wondering, what am I doing right now? I'm doing this. I play rock, paper, scissors, so watch. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Alright, someone's... Alright, there's baby hands. Boo. Okay, once you're back here, it'll be done, and then you can grab the brush.
This was a special brush.
Get to the door. Remember, this is going to be left side. So what's the rule on left sides?
At that point, I hesitated.
You go up.
Will this really
Up the
work?
mouse.
Fuck it. I was already halfway through.
And then if you go this
besides,
way, you
it's
kind of
not
go like
I
left
could
or right.
put it all
You can
back
just keep the
and
direction on
forget the
each
whole
door.
thing.
Oh no, it's giant baby face. How scary. It's a baby face. Anyway, we got the brush, and now we're going to be leaving. And back to the canvas. For the next part of the run. Gone. I don't know why, but if you can actually get hung up on this if you don't pay attention. The door handle is shifted for this one section. So keep that in mind as you play. So this room does kind of confuse me. I usually just kind of shake the camera and go around. And then once you do so, you can kind of acknowledge what's going on. You have to, like, respect the loop. Once a loop happens, it'll be opening up from a certain direction. I usually just kind of shake it because then more happens. And you want to keep going until the door open, or like you hear a door open, which is going to be in front of this couch. Usually the lights will be off when that happens. There we go. Once you're in here, lights turn off, turn them back on. Look at the clock. And this is going to be the door we exit out of. Door is locked, so you have to chill in here for a little bit. But you have to, like, force all the room's scares to happen, or else you'll be here for a while. That is actually the difference between a fast run and a slow run. By the way, knowing where to exit, that's going to be very good as well. If you don't know these, you will be there for a long time, because they'll try to keep you in the loop. So, jump scare there. Ignore it. Just go backwards. It's your wife. Remember, ignore your wife. That is the lesson this game teaches you. You gotta ignore her. So right now, we're actually hitting the next RNG puzzle of the game. This game does have a minor amount of RNG, and that is going to be the rat, cat, dog puzzle. The fastest answer is going to be rat. Chat, if you want to take a while to guess what it'll be, we can see if it's dog, rat, or cat. You could look at it, however, it's slow to do that, so I'm just going to take a wild guess and assume it's rat, which will be 687. Me, personally, I write the codes in my splits because it's faster. I think it's really just easy to write codes, but we're going to see if we can get rat. So once I enter this room, I immediately turn around, and I can just enter the code. So let's see if it's 687. Alright, it was rat. We're good. Having rat is really good. If you get rat, you saved a lot of time. From here, what happens is you get a fire starting. And once the fire starts, we're going to kind of see this door begin. And we just sort of walk into the light. Like so. You can actually walk through the light if you're fast enough. And then once you do that, you're good to go and back to sprinting. Alright, so let's keep moving forward. This room is not really all that weird or difficult. The doors will shut on you. You just walk into this one and then open up the rest. And then you're good to go. We're about to hit the next puzzle section of the game, I would say. The next puzzle section is going to be a tad bit interesting. Because what's going to happen is we are going to be getting a lot of phone calls. First, though, walk about to that chair and then walk backwards. That will allow the door to unlock, and you can exit that room. If you don't walk that far forward, it won't actually activate. You have to be very careful. Oh, wrong way. I forgot to dodge the chair because I forgot what room I was in, but you can get by that chair, so you want to go right of it. Here, I keep messing that up. There's like a room that I know you can go backwards in. I haven't been doing it. Alright, I think now we're approaching the phone room. For this, pull the chain down about 3 times or so. Going about 3 full pulls. And then once you have 3 full pulls, it should unlock. Yep, there it is. And once that unlocks, you can move forward. So here we are. We are about to approach the room. First things first, follow the rats. We enter about here, and then we walk back. That'll allow the room to activate on time. To which then we'll be doing another one of those elevator glitches. Let's see if I can land it this time. Didn't get it at all. That's fine. It really does. If you go right, by the way, you will die in this elevator. You have to go the right way. As well, if you died earlier, you will die in this elevator. So, dying in the elevator loses you a lot of time, because there's a puzzle with that, too, and it sucks. Ah, yes, Avery. I mean, I like horror games, though. I've been doing horror for a while. It's quite fun. So this room, guess what? We leave. Hey, look! Story plot. We're ignoring it. Remember, ignore your wife. I feel like this speedrun is just a moral lesson to ignore your wife. So, yeah. Okay, right now what we're going to be doing is pulling this book. It's a bit awkward. Once you hear the click, you're good to go. Alright, we're going to be doing a few puzzles with this book pulling. We're going to be getting some phones, the answers. You have to call each time. The numbers are preset. So, it's going to be 363. If you ever use a rotary phone, it's really easy. Just drag it to the white line right there. You don't have to, like, try to pull it. Just drag it to the line. We're good. Look up, look to the door. So the whole point right now is to make sure you're forcing the rooms to change as much as possible. Normally it would take a lot longer to realize that, but if you look up immediately, you can look at the door. Alright, this is going to be 853. So, 8. And you can kind of see, I'm not wildly dragging it, I'm just dragging it to the white line. You don't have to, like, force your hand or anything. Make sure every time you're doing these quick turns, because that will allow you to get what you need. So this one's going to be a bit confusing. You answer the phone, you walk out, you look at the painting here, and then you look at the baby. Once that light turns on, you can answer the phone. This one's 354. And then after that, look backwards, look forwards. And we want to instantly kill ourselves. So we fall flat, and then fall down again. Guess what? We did it. Yes! By dying, we're going to end up back in the main room. What's supposed to happen is you walk forward, you walk back, just about, oh, it's a daring escape, and then you die. But guess what? If you die earlier, you go faster. So it's worth it. Alright, now we have to answer the last phone. Guess what? It's right there.
You deserve this.
Guess what? It's your wife. She hates you. Just like that baby man right there. But don't you worry, we're getting a piece of our wife that is true to the touch. It's her finger.
I needed something to add.
Anything to the host.
How should I put it? Final touch.
And we're gonna turn on the light. You don't have to do any of this, by the way. Just I have to wait.
A finger.
So I'm waiting.
Chopped it off. Easy
Door's locked
sawn
until the
blade.
dialogue finishes.
Washed
Keep that in
it,
mind. It is a great
dried
trick,
it in
better.
an
It's a
oven,
very great trick.
Fell asleep. Almost burned it.
It's good code. It's a good
I managed
one.
to pull this off.
Alright, and then we're back in this room. Okay. We're almost done with the game, by the way. We're on the last real section of the game. We're breaking into two parts. Witness Part 1 and Part 2. It's broken in this way because the two things are very different, and we kind of just have the puzzle room. First things first, I like going left. It's about as fast, and sounds good. Eloquim, sounds good. Enjoy the lurk. Thank you for the host. We just kind of want to go around these rooms. I think either way does work, but I feel this one is slightly faster. Right now, we're going to be hitting this portrait. This room actually does require things of you. You need to walk around. Because what's going to happen is the room is going to force its hand. If you just stand still, the rats will not activate. You must activate the rats. And this one people sing rats, 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 rats. The rats will not be activated unless you're running around them. So once they activate, the fire starts. We're not going through that door. We're going through that door. However, we're not really going through that door. We're going through that door. And I'll explain in a moment what that means. So, with this door right here, it will unlock in a little bit. And once it unlocks, what I'm going to do is immediately avoid a jump scare. You have our wife here. Our wife is scary. Once she spawns in, ignore your wife. Remember, always ignore your wife. She's bad news, chat. She's bad news. Once you ignore your wife, she closes. Closes even more. And then you can unlock this right now. And then you're good to go. Yeah. Apply rats directly to the forehead. This game is more about loving the rats than your wife, and it's a strange phenomenon. Okay, this is gonna be weird, but open the door to your right. It's a really weird door. It's like the only one that's like really counterintuitive, because every other time you have a door like that, you open it to the left, but that one you have to do to your right. It's really, really weird. Like, these doors are considered up, these doors are considered left. There's like one door in this game that is like right, and it's very strange. Avoid all the puddles of ink and paint, I suppose that is. And then we'll be going very quick. Floor door? Correct. Or ignoring the plot. You can't even paint anymore? I can. Ignore the Ouija board, just keep walking forward. Progress is a must with this game. By the way, the funniest part is I'm pretty sure I'm going to PB this. Hey look, paint. No. Hey look, progress. No. Hey look, wheelchair. Ignore it. Ignore everything that isn't progress. How's it going, Heed? Wise Arn, hope you're doing good. Okay, once you're at the bathtub, it's actually really easy. I kind of just mash clicking until he dunks his head. Once he dunks his head, you hold down the mouse button. It's very imperative you hold it down. If you let go, the cutscene will stop. So I can keep this hand chill, but my right hand is always on the mouse button for this. It'll end at a certain point. Once it ends, start mashing the mouse button again. Because once you hear the head dunk, you'll be doing the same thing. You want 3 head dunks. I can't move my mouse around to find the eye too. I'll make sure we have it. Dunk. So you gotta make absolutely sure he's dunking his head and go the full way. This is required for story purposes. You can learn more if you look around the room. There's like a knife and you can see what's going on. But we're just kind of seeing with our own eyes what's in the bathtub. Because this game's supposed to be sad and stuff. Alright, one more. Yep. Alright. What's going to happen is once we do the third dunk, you're going to be looking in the bathtub because there's going to be an eye in there. The eye is going to be the final part that we need, so we're going to have to make sure we grab that. It's not the final part of the game, mind you, but it'll be the final part we need. There's still one part after that. So now that we're out of the bathtub, we're going to be going right back in there to get one more part. I split there for this section just because... I should mention this as well, but splits are never mandatory. Splits are entirely based on your own opinion. Like, if you feel comfortable splitting somewhere, do it. There's no rule saying on where your splits need to be outside of the first split and the last split. Those are the only ones that are required to be on certain points. Even then, you don't really need it. People can retime your runs if you mess it up. But, I mean, just keep that in mind. It makes moderation easier. So, the jar. Look at the jar. I split.
Someone had to bear witness.
Door will be unlocked in a moment, and we'll be getting our final
work.
canvas. Don't you worry.
Art and the artist needed an audience, a critical eye.
So I'm already kind of moving it.
I knew what I had to do.
And the final room is going to be heavily puzzle-based.
Scooped it up like ice
I
cream.
actually do not like this room very
Felt like
much,
a
but I'm starting to
butcher.
grow. It's starting to grow on
Monster,
me.
But at least there was to come something beautiful.
This is
from
going to
all
be
this
a puzzle that could have happened earlier in the game if you tried doing it, but it is the chess puzzle. So once you kind of get here, you'll notice you get a chessboard. Immediately pick up that chess piece and pick up this one. That will allow you to instantly get to the chessboard. The way I do it is we need to be in this corner, but first things first, we need to touch the chessboard. If you don't touch the chessboard or be like roughly in the area and activate the events, it won't activate. It's very imperative that you activate what's going on. And also do the camera movements that kind of allow you to see. Once that starts, you can kind of get the indication of what you want. So one more, a couple more I think. There we go. And it's always going to be in the same spots. So they spawn in the same way. The way I remember this one is the deer head. After this, it's going to spawn roughly about in this location. So you can see I'm kind of throwing it. It does take a certain amount of time, but you want to make sure that you are, you know, kind of pacing your movement a little bit with this. Come on. Did I not start the event? Oh, God, you're kidding me. There we go. Very nice. So I walk back here, and then that'll start getting stuff out of that window. When stuff starts going out of this window, you can look on here. I hope I didn't lose PB, by the way, by not activating the chessboard. You want that checkered piece. It'll fall down. And then you pick it up. From here on forward, you get a painting. Walk into it. You want to make very sure you're activating everything. Now, once that is activated, you'll activate the next events, which that one's going to happen roughly about there. You'll kind of see that circles around the room. Come on. Game. There it is. Okay, so now, one's right here, one is up there. You can actually grab it from this side, but it's really difficult, so just go up the stairs. It's easier, unfortunately. Hey, Yorkie, how's it going? I am not a big fan of this part, as you can see. The last one's going to be right there. It does actually just take a while to do this, by the way. Alright, come on. There it is. So, you can't get that one yet. You have to open up this for a weight, pick up the weight, and then you do it. Once you're done with that, you're pretty much almost good to go. You'll be getting a painting in there in a moment. His name is Babyface. We love Babyface. You walk up to Babyface, walk away from Babyface, and then also just activate the chessboard. What I do there, if you want to stop the weird turning thing, and just pause the game and then unpause it. And now you notice you can't walk back in the room. Yeah, I'm losing a bit of time because I forgot. That's fine. Well, this was good marathon commentary until I forgot to start the chessboard. I feel like one of those was taking too long. But that's okay. That is okay. I had a feeling it was taking a bit too much time. Alright, so now we're back in the room, and it is our portrait. What is the portrait, you may wonder? Well, guess what? It is your wife you've been ignoring this entire game. Oh, how sweet.
That's it.
He finally loves his wife. It's not rats.
It's beautiful. Perfect.
We have one more trick in this game that's not
Just
basic
like
movement.
I always.
Because the run's not over yet. This would have been a PB if I wasn't stupid, but I kind of dumped it in the middle because I didn't realize I had to activate the event. I've kind of been mashing the button the entire time. I probably should have still done that, but it's okay.
No. Stop it.
This is also the bad ending, if you are wondering. This game has 3 endings. There's the bad ending, the okay ending, and the good ending. When I play this game casually, I got the good ending. Getting the bad ending means you ignored your wife. The okay ending, I actually don't know why it happens. And then, as well, the good ending is that you love your wife. How sappy, right? Anyway, what's going to happen is we're going to be getting some gameplay at the very end of this, so the run's not over yet. This game is all about looping, so what this means is that, well, you'll find out the big twist right here. How did it self-portrait? I don't even remember Twisted. I never got in it. I played this game for the first time on Sunday. Alright, hey, big shock. You've been doing this a lot. So speedrunning is canon to this game, surprisingly enough. Link. Alright, so what you're going to do right now is I'm holding down sprint and left, which for me is A. By strafing left, I'm going to be able to start moving right when we load in. As you can see right there, and then I just turn with my mouse and go back to normal movements. You're going to be doing the very first movement of the game, which is grabbing the key, and then heading back to that first door. The run ends once you uncover the painting, because that's going to allow you to pretty much restart where you were. So, I hope you enjoyed Layers of Fear. Also, make sure you unlock the door. Look right, and then once the cut changes, look at it, and go. And there's the run. 35:36. It's still a respectable time, but in all honesty, that would have PB'd if I wasn't dummy. But chat, sometimes I can be dummy. It hits the best of us. But, you know what? That was a good run, I feel. Either way, I hope you've enjoyed marathon commentary for Layers of Fear. I had a fun time learning this game. It's really easy to pick up, really easy to learn. If you'd like to see more marathon commentaries such as this one, feel free to let me know. And thank you for watching.